Oh, I almost tripped in my own shoe. Good morning, happy Sunday, everyone. Well, nothing really else to say except it's my low, my high, my act of kindness. Right, how do I say this? My low and my high, and technically my act of kindness, are all relatively intertwined. Because, okay, so, my, I had a set plan for what I was going to do yesterday. Because there was two, events going on where, different vendors show up and, basically it gives the people an opportunity to support local. And I was going to go to them, which I did. I mean, first of all, kudos to everybody who went out because it was raining like crazy yesterday, especially earlier in the morning. I'm driving on the highway. I was legitimately worried I was going to get in an accident. It was absolutely insane. I'm getting my shoes. I don't want to do this. So, that happened. I went to the first one. It was a Massi's Garden and Landscaping Spring Fling event. Which, there was one person I did see who was there. I'm glad I saw. You know who you are. There was someone else that I wanted to see, but who was supposed to be there. I didn't see them there. So, kind of wondering what happened there, but, nothing. Maybe they couldn't come at the last minute or something. I don't know. So, I go to Massi's farming landscaping event. And I get there like 10:30 roughly, like 10:26 I think is when I actually arrived there. And okay, so there were a lot of people who were there, which is awesome. Again, great that so many people are supporting local. But the parking was one of those events where you gotta park on the grass, and because it was raining so hard, there's a whole lot of mud tracks everywhere and stuff like that. I actually was kind of worried I wouldn't be able to leave the parking lot. But, obviously I did, that's why I'm here. But it got me worried. But I then headed to a place called The Pines, which is a place I've been meaning to go to for quite a while now. And, one of the owners of The Pines' birthday was actually Friday, but I was able to give that person their gift, yesterday, which I did. And I really need to emphasize, why I really want to go to The Pines. Because, again, I know the owners of them. They legit, if you don't know what The Pines is, it's a location where you can have, events, weddings or anniversaries or corporate dinner parties, stuff like that. And it's great that you actually have a venue for that in a pretty nice location too. It's surrounded by trees and outdoors. It actually gives you a pseudo log cabin type mentality. It's not a log cabin, but it feels like you're in nature, which is very inviting if done correctly, and this place does it correctly. But also, the owners of this place are a couple that I know, and they legit built that place from the ground up. This is one of those locations where, a year ago, it was land. And then it was there. Come to think of it, I don't think The Pines is even a year old. That's how recent it was. And not to mention, the first wedding at The Pines was booked before the place was finished being built. And I think 3 days after it was built, that's when they had that first wedding that was booked. Think about that for a second. you're building a place from the ground up where you're going to have like events or you're going to have like really important events, you know, birthdays, anniversaries and such, and weddings. And like, it's a completely new thing, completely untested. And you're going to book an event there. And it's already booked before it's even finished being built. And you pull it off. I mean, I don't know the people who got married, obviously, but they successfully pulled off like building an establishment from the ground up for people to have really important events to have. That's really cool. So, yeah, needless to say, I need to check it out. And there was an event going on where there was other vendors that I knew who were going to be there, and I got to see them. It was awesome. Again, I mentioned that one of the owners' birthday was Friday, so I got to give them their birthday gift yesterday, which is awesome. If you couldn't tell, the birthday gift was my act of kindness. And obviously my high was going to both events. But here's the thing. I was about done doing what I set out to do, going to both events. And it was just barely afternoon. Like, I still have like the entirety of the rest of the day to do. So, what's a guy to do? And if you couldn't tell, that was my low, because I didn't really plan things good enough. So with all that said, like, here's the thing. It's not that I was like, well, here's why it's my low. My low was that I was worried that like the day was going to be kind of, you know, boring after that. And I really started thinking about that until the day was about over. And then it occurred to me, you know, I literally went out to do what I set out to do. You know, and I think it was pretty successful doing it. So, I can't really complain. I mean, if you're also already low, that you guys are going to be so mad at me. I haven't seen Sugar Conroy's first episode of Twilight Princess yet, as of the recording of this video. I haven't. I mean, I want to, and I definitely plan on doing so, you know, after I start getting this uploaded. But I have yet to actually watch it. I mean, again, I want to, and I'm definitely going to do so, you know, at some point. But I guess I feel a little embarrassed that, like, for years I wanted Sugar Conroy to do Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. He's finally got the first episode up, and I haven't watched it yet. So, that's kind of eating at me, but, I mean, that's like nothing. In the grand scheme of things, that really is nothing. I mean, I was actually having this conversation with a friend of mine at the event at the Pines yesterday. You know who you are. And the more I think about it, the more that so far, whether I realize it or not, I've been taking the best aspects of everything from 2023 and 2024. And I guess a little bit of 2022 now I think about it. Like, here's the thing. For those of you guys who don't know, I got heartbroken in 2022. And up until like September of that year, I pretty much let that dictate how I was feeling. And it wasn't until September when I went to one wedding. November later, I went to another wedding. And then it was my birthday that, like, if it wasn't for those three things happening, I think 2022 would have been just completely, like, lost. And when I look back in out of hindsight, like, those were what can happen if I just go out and, you know, do things. 2023 is when I actually started, doing that. And it was actually starting to, work a little. And, I wound up meeting and being included in this wonderful group of people. You guys know who you are. And honestly, because remember 2023 was also like around the end of July, I was really ready to just, live my life in the gray. Like I wouldn't know, like I would never really be happy again, but that'd be okay. See my nephews grow up, I'll do that, focus my attention on family, do that. And again, I meet this other family, and they single-handedly saved 2023 for me. 2024 wound up being like a year of patience for me. I said before there were some things that were going on that I didn't really get included in. Basically, I was feeling major FOMO, fear of missing out, if you will. Actually, I should have done fear of missing out and then did FOMO, if you will. Anyway. But by the end of 2024, even though I will admit FOMO really does hit me hard, I did come to the conclusion that if I want to be included in things, then someone's going to invite me or include me in those things. It's going to be up to them, not me. I mean, I'm not going to show up and, just uninvited. That's rude. I'm not going to do that. That's crazy. So, rather than try and, force those things, those great things to happen, just take them as they come. Again, patience. So far, I would say that, with the exception of maybe that one car accident I got into in January, I really have been doing just that. Everything that's happened in the last 3 years really has been, leading up to, this year. And so far, it's been working. Surprisingly. Full stop. I mean, obviously, there's some things where I kind of wish still did happen, but didn't, for very obvious reasons. And by very obvious reasons, I mean, the people who I thought would be there aren't and stuff like that. But that didn't stop me from having a good time. It actually kind of enriched the experience. Because, again, I've had a lot of fun doing a lot of things so far this year. I really would never be able to effectively say none of them are perfect. Because nothing's perfect. I've accepted that. But people like to think that, something's got to be perfect. And then, all is well. When it's just as easily possible where you really could have everything go the way you want and you're still not satisfied. I mean, hopefully I hope that doesn't wind up happening to me. But honestly, I think by the end of this year, I think I'll wind up being satisfied because everything wasn't perfect, if that makes sense. Because, if everything was perfect, then I really would be questioning the reality of everything, if that makes sense. So, by the end of the day yesterday, because remember, after I went to the Pines, it wasn't even noon. I had the whole rest of the day to, nothing was going on. At least not that I knew of. Technically there was one part that was going on, but again, I didn't get included in. But again, if they were going to include me, they would have asked me. yeah, I do have a little bit of FOMO, but again, if I was going to be included, I would have been asked to go. But that's nothing to get upset over. So as long as I keep telling myself that stuff like this is going to happen, I think I'm going to be okay. So by the end of the day yesterday, as I was, making my posts about what I did and writing as to why yesterday was one of the best days of 2024, as I was typing it up, I grew more and more excited about it. This had only happened not even, 12 hours before. At the time as I was making those posts, that is. And when I was thinking about it more and more, I grew excited more and more. That's awesome. That's the sort of thing I need to feel whenever I go out and do things. For example, those 2 times I went to Scat and Sketty and lost. I mean, I didn't win, but when I thought about it more and more, I had a great time. That made me more and more excited. That's what the goal should be. After a great event or a great thing you go to should make you feel more and more excited talking about it after the fact. At least it does for me. So, while 2025 so far, I've been putting a lot of things I've learned over the last 3 years together, I'm still learning. And for the first time in my life, I'm actually excited about learning. So, I've never been not that excited. I've actively, I've been excited about learning stuff. Of course I have. But, I've never, actively said that out loud, I've been, you know what? I've been transparent about it. I'm actually excited to learn more and more about what this year is going to hold. And it's only, early April. I mean, my brother's birthday's a week from today. That's exciting. Easter's 2 weeks from today. That's really exciting. And there's so much more in between that's going to happen that I can't wait to do and see. Or see and do, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah. I'm feeling good, man. This is feeling great. So to Massi's Garden and Landscaping, congratulations on your spring fling event. A lot of people were there in spite of the rain, which is great. A lot of people supporting local. That's awesome. I hope that the event turned out to be as fantastic as it looked, from my opinion, from my point of view. And as for the good folks behind the pines, you guys know who you are. It was so awesome to finally see what it looks like on the inside. I mean, I've seen photos, obviously, but actually be there in person, that's awesome. I mean, I don't think I need to tell you that you guys should be really proud of the fact you literally built that from the ground up, which is awesome. And so many people, here's the thing. I mentioned, within 3 days after it was finished being built, they had their first wedding. It is booked constantly for events, weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, retirement party, you name it. It is booked solid. Needless to say, if I ever want to have a wedding there, I'm probably going to have to wait 5 years in advance. Because it's become that popular. I mean, again, they just had an event where, vendors were there and stuff, that I knew some of the vendors, so that's why I went. But still, I got to see it. And it's awesome. Again, I kind of wish the weather was a little bit better yesterday, because they actually had, heat lamps in there, the ones that you stand under and the heat goes. So, yeah, it was a little bit cold because of the rain. But other than that, I mean, that's nothing. It was awesome to finally see it. And, I mean, I got to check off 2 items on my 2025 bucket list, the event at Massi's and the event at the Pines. The Pines, however, was on my all-time bucket list. And I got to check it off. Come on, how could I ever complain about that? I hope you like this video. If you like this, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow on social media. As always, I have a very humble video for all of you guys to watch. Enjoy for day. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday. Did I say happy Sunday? Oh, happy Sunday, folks. And remember, if you guys want to talk, channels will be here to lend you all your back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.